brothers and deaconess used to testify, I got a phone in my bosom. Jesus is on the main line. Tell him what you want. If you need more power, call him up. Tell him what you want. If you need more love, rain, call him up. Tell him what you want. Feel like preaching today. I need somebody here to get so familiar with God. You don't have to look up his number, but you got it on speed dial. You don't have to call somebody else to see if you can get a prayer through. But you know God so well that you become second nature when you have to call on him. Touch your neighbor, wake him up. Tell him, don't miss this, baby. Be seated. And so, if you're now halfway through my message and don't know yet whether you've been walking with God or not, let me show you what walking with God is like. The writer pens and prognosticates through his writing utensil this morning. In Psalm 91, verses 1 and 2, he says, if you are going to walk with God, he says that you will have God's presence. It's found right there in verse 1 and 2, Sister Kennedy. Jackie, he says, he that abideth under the shadow of the Almighty. Stop right there. What the writer is helping you to understand, the children of Israel were in a strange land. And the Bible says, when you do etymological research and study behind this text, Sister Susan, is that they were in a land where the sun got very hot. And they felt like God had forsaken them. And they felt like they were going to die literally under the heat. Now that may be foreign to some of us who are Alaskans in the room. But just elevate your mind and understanding for a moment. So he pens this encouragement that I know it's hot, but if you get under the shadow of the Almighty. How interesting that means. What does that mean, preacher? As I'm working at God-Prt, Sears going to UAF, he says that if you're going to walk with God, the good news is it doesn't matter where you are, God can be right there. I heard somebody say, and it's true because it's in the Bible, that the God that we serve is omnipresent. That means he's everywhere at the same time. He can be at UAF and on Wainwright at the same time. He can be at Corinthian in Fairbanks and be at True Victory in North Pole at the same time. But can I bust your bubble and tell you, God is not everywhere. When you look at that, Reverend Sister Helen Phillips, because he's omnipresent, that means he can be wherever he wants to be and wherever he is received at the same time. But in the Old Testament, the Bible says when they went somewhere where God was supposed to be and they could not find him, Ichabod was written over the windowsill. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, God is not everywhere, even though he is. In other words, he can be at your house, but if you don't want him there, he will not